Okay.
During the year of 2019.
Okay.
And with that, anything else that we need to obviously do and attach it to a capital campaign. Not just a celebration, but a celebration and of course a campaign.
Okay. All right. But no specific stuff has been identified. I see that you're all very handy around here. That chapel reconstruction, which I understand is being done in-house, is terrific. But there might be some things that can't be done by volunteer labor.
In the last capital campaign
When was that?
in 2000,
Okay.
it was a millennial campaign. Okay, we bought an elevator. Okay, we got a $10,000 grant toward that elevator, but the project was $40,000.
Right.
We put all new carpeting. We refurbished all the floors. Okay, we painted the church.
Okay.
Okay, we were able to hire a youth minister over a 2-year period, which ended up being a longer period of time, which people didn't realize it was part of the capital campaign. I just happened to stumble upon the paper.
You seem very well informed.
I was stunned. The records were very poorly. The records were very poorly kept. Okay, I couldn't understand how they were kept, and I was told the goal was $100,000. My husband and the priest at the time, Father Reichman, got together and said, everybody's doing things for the year 2000. Let's do my husband said, let's go for 200, and Jeff said, let's go for 100. And then now, from what I was told, 125,000 was raised. I can't find any place in the records 125. The most I can find is 77,000. Okay.
7?
77.
77.
That's the most I can see. Now, it's possible that the salary for the youth minister might have been over 2 years, made up that difference, and that's the only thing I can think of that it wasn't put in there, okay? Because her salary package was about $30,000 a year. So you put that with the 77.
How'd you do an elevator for that amount of money?
The elevator at the time was, $40,000.
But I think your original question actually was asking, have we earmarked or identified anything?
Right.
Yeah.
That's why I'm asking.
Right. Okay.
We earmarked things for that at that
Right.
time.
Okay.
Have we done anything for now? No.
Okay, good.
Not as of yet.
Well,
Not
Want to grow the
This-
endowment.
okay,
want to
well,
grow the endowment. Okay, that one I knew. That's one of the ones that has been identified.
okay. I mean, that's something the leadership would like to see happen. But this place is in pretty good shape. You don't have, I'm not hearing any deferred
Well, it might
maintenance
be.
items.
There's some
Well,
stuff on the rectory, might be
yeah.
siding. on the
Yeah,
church or the rectory.
siding on the rectory. That's about 12,000. We've had various opinions as to whether we need a new boiler, or we've talked about air conditioning the church. We have the Miller Hall
Right.
air conditioned, but the
Nice,
rest,
isn't it?
yeah. So
Okay. Well, it's actually good in a way that you don't have that the leadership doesn't.
I know the other thing, Daria. As we sit here in this room that has a porcelain floor because it can still get wet.
Drainage.
Drainage. Yeah.
And I also think we should be looking at carpeting.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's just either
Yeah.
good cleaning or brand new carpeting needs to be done. Yeah, I mean, with these
cleaning is going to do
I don't
the
think
trick.
cleaning.
I'm just
I
gonna
think
say,
we've
it
cleaned
just
and
needs to
cleaned.
be.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, see, it's actually
And painting.
it's
Yeah,
kind of
it goes-
nice that you don't have a list
along
of
with
things like the foundation is crumbling or the roof is leaking or something like that,
No.
because this the way our capital campaigns are structured, they're in 3 phases. It's the 3rd phase that is actually the capital campaign, which means asking people for money. The first part is trying to get everybody in the parish involved in the discussion about what they would like to see happen here. What do they think it would be great? if Christchurch could do. Now, when there are deferred maintenance items, people will understand that, you know, the roof can't fall in, foundation can't crumble, you know, but those are not, and so they'll support them, but they're not particularly exciting.
We, how much did the roof cost? It was $119,000, and so we took that out of the diocesan account.
Okay,
And so that's the other piece that
But that came, did not come from the sale of the original rectory.
that came from the sale of the
That was
rest.
the balance
Right.
between the purchasing of the new one.
Right,
right,
So that's how that.
but it's
Right,
but,
yeah.
Very
but
smart.
right. I mean,
Well-
you can spend it, but for capital work. Okay.
yeah, but
Um,
that's something that it hurt to spend that much money.
Yes.
And not have a way to replace it
Right.
because
But
you
we
never
didn't
know
want the roof to
when
fall
the next
in.
thing.
You didn't want to have a big
Right,
leak.
exactly.
So, you know,
Well, right.
Because we don't know when the
yeah.
next big thing
Well,
is
right.
gonna.
So this is why your long-term strategy for the endowment has to be not only to preserve it, but also to wean the operating budget off of it, so that the drawdown, whatever prudent drawdown from the amount of money you have invested is, can go into a capital reserve account, so you can either build up money for these major things or take care of other things. You can make a capital plan, and you know we're going to be getting about this much money in other words, you have a capital budget as well as an operating budget, and then you're not reacting. You can actually be planning. I mean, you know, the fact that every element in the building has a useful life is not a secret. It's knowable, and it's calculable. So, you know, the reason people don't do it is they don't want to know, because they aren't putting aside the resource. Right.
That's the elephant in the room, right?
Right. That's why these rooms feel so crowded, even though there aren't that many people. You know, there's all these elephants. Okay, but the purpose of the discernment phase, the first phase, is to get people together and basically answer the question, what do we want to see happen here? And that answer can be both programmatic and building. I mean, you know, one thing might be we want to see, we want to see a tenant in the Sunday school wing. Okay, well, in order for that programmatic thing to happen, there's probably work you need to do to bring the buildings up to code and stuff like that. That would be the landlord's responsibility. So if you want to have a mission-driven discussion, that's a great way to do it. And then the question is, what do we want to do, and what has to happen with the buildings in order for us to do it? Or what can we do with the buildings that would make them more functional, more welcoming, more attractive, more usable, in order to do all that stuff? Air conditioning the church at this point, and seems to me not to be a discretionary item. I'm sure there were people, you know, in the days of the wood stoves in the middle of the church, people thinking that central heating thing was just a passing fad. Why do we need to think about that? Those hickory stoves are perfectly all right. It's only a few weeks anyway out of the year. And the point of those discussions is to try to get as much enthusiasm and buy-in as possible, to get people excited about what we could do. What would it be great if we could do? And you have finished discernment, and that's usually done in kind of a series of, you have a big meeting to kick off the discussions, and then you have a series of small group meetings, and then you report back to the congregation what you've heard. And you've done discernment when you have a list of projects around which there seems to be a level of consensus. That these are the things that generated the most energy and the most enthusiasm when they were brought up. You have put hard numbers next to each one of them because you need to be able to tell people if we raise this much money, we can accomplish this project. And you've got the level of participation and knowledge and buy-in so that if I went to a coffee hour at the end of discernment and spoke to a random person and said, I understand Christchurch is thinking about doing a capital campaign, the person would say, yes, I was involved in those discussions, or at least I was asked to be part of them. And these are the things we're thinking about doing. And the most important word in what I just said was we. You want people to feel ownership of it. This is something we're doing. This is not something the leadership, it's not something they're telling us we have to do, right? That's the whole point. And not in every instance, but in a number of the ones that I've led, the lead gift has identified him or herself during those discernment discussions because they got so excited about what the possibilities were. Okay, so that's, and I think, there are other capital campaign consultant, companies out there. As far as I know, this is sort of what sets the Foundation's method apart a little bit because of this emphasis on building consensus and building buy-in and stakeholding and stuff like that. And it's this foundation on which the rest of it is built. Okay, so if you look at, there are a couple of different handouts that talk about this, but look at the proposal that's been prepared for you. The first couple of pages are about ECF and its capital campaign philosophy. That's sort of what I've been talking about. The holistic approach means we try to, that it's not just a building problem, it's how does it feed your mission, and what about the rest of your finances like planned giving and annual giving. It says that 92% of ECF's clients meet or exceed their financial goal. I will tell you that my experience is 100% do. And I would like
Keep that.
not to have that record be besmirched.
Fred Ruther.
Oh, hey.
I think you.
Yes.
Yeah, I just got
Did you get one? What, do you have? Is these all the ones you got? Because you got a bunch of people that aren't here.
Yeah.
How many copies did they send?
I don't know.
Okay, well, you can make copies of the proposal.
Okay.
That's the important thing. And so you've got, a little bit. We're bottom of page 3. We talk back to you about the information that you've given us about Christchurch. And it says in the right-hand column is important. The efforts of a successful capital campaign will take the community of Christchurch to a new level of stewardship commitment. I don't know how you experienced, those of you that were here, the 2000 capital campaign, but a well-run, successful capital campaign has the sometimes transformational benefit of giving people the experience of being able to be more generous than they thought they could be. We think money is a zero-sum game, and if I give you more, it means I have less for something else. In fact, that's not how money really works, or it's not how we experience money. When, for example, when you have a kid, I understand kids are very expensive. But it also means that your priorities have changed. So you may long for the kind of trips and dinners out and stuff that you took before, but you're not spending the money on that because not